Welcome to Startup Hack. Today we'll dive into Peter Thiel's fascinating new interview where he connects dots between politics, technology, and the state of our world in ways that only he can. I really like listening to Peter Thiel. I think he likes to stretch our imaginations a little bit, and I think he's sitting at a pretty fascinating, interesting spot with friends like Elon Musk and a lot of his other cohorts, a lot of the old PayPal mafia. So I really love hearing from him, and I'm going to break down his interview for you today and go through some of the quotes of things that he said and give you my thoughts of whether I agree, disagree, or what my thoughts are. So whether you agree or not, his insights will make you think twice about the future of innovation and leadership. So let's dive into this today. Welcome to Startup Hack. I'm Spencer Thomason. Here at Startup Hack, we train software developers in our licensed coding boot camps and build custom software solutions for companies. With a decade of executive leadership as a fractional CTO and 25 years in software development, I've mastered transforming tech teams and products. All right, we're going to dive into Peter Thiel's fascinating interview where he connects a lot of these dots and where we can start to dive in and see what we think about it. I'm really curious to hear your takes. So as always, make sure you comment down below on your thoughts. There's no wrong thoughts as long as we're being nice to each other, but I really like to hear what you guys think about this. Do you think he's wrong? Do you think I'm wrong? Like, give me your thoughts and make sure that you comment. So one of the first things that Thiel points out is he paints a vivid picture of what he calls, quote, the machine in politics, a system of rigid groupthink that stifles individuality. He contrasts this with the maverick, someone willing to break norms to create progress. So it's a risky move, but Thiel argues that true innovation often comes from those who don't fit the mold. For developers, this kind of resonates, right? Because breakthrough often happens when you question the status quo. I like to come into groups all the time and say, hey, I'm going to ask the dumb questions. And a lot of times it sparks a ton of conversation. So don't be afraid to ask the dumb questions, right? So my big takeaway from what Peter Thiel says here is balancing maverick thinking with practical execution is key to long-term success. All right, next thing that Thiel dives into as he criticizes identity politics as a limiting framework, arguing that its prioritizes labels over substantive ideas. So he highlights how this has hindered genuine debate in tech and beyond. So while his stance might seem polarizing, it's worth reflecting on how group identities can overshadow individual contributions. So I think he's talking here about a lot of the group politics, right? Are you Republican? Are you Democrat? And does that mean you have to fit a mold? In the tech world, meritocracy often battles with these cultural shifts. There's a neutral stance. We should aim for systems that celebrate ideas over affiliations. Now, the next thing that Thiel says, and this goes right into it, see Silicon Valley as a paradox. It's home to disruptive innovation, but it's also increasingly aligning with conformity. He believes this tension limits tech's ability to address societal changes. For instance, the rise of platforms like X, which formerly known as Twitter, as alternative political arenas shows tech's potential to challenge narratives. So agree or not, Thiel's observations about tech's untapped power are thought-provoking. What do you guys think? I'm curious what you guys think about this. Is Silicon Valley a paradox, or is it the one leading the charge? Like, what do you guys see? Because I know Silicon Valley has definitely seen some shifts over the last couple of decades. Now, let's talk a little bit about the rise of counter-elite, right? Thiel describes the counter-elite as a group of outsiders challenging traditional power structures. This isn't just a political phenomenon, but a broader cultural shift. For developers, this means opportunities are ripe for those willing to challenge the norms. However, stepping into this space requires resilience and strategic thinking. The message is being an outsider isn't a disadvantage, it's a strength. So how have you guys taken being an outsider to be a strength? I know a lot of times we're always worried about, is this going to hurt my career, or is this going to hurt my next job? Is somebody going to see this and not want to hire me? Like, what are these things here? So one of the things I would point out here is if your company systems aren't connected, let us help you out. Here at Startup Hack, our specialty is connecting systems to help your company work like a well-oiled machine. So check out startuphack.com/Spencer and we can help you out. Now, let's also dive into monopolies versus competition. I'm always pro-capitalism, right? So I'm never going to be a big fan of monopolies because generally speaking, competition is what I believe drives innovation. Now, Thiel controversially champions monopolies over competition, arguing that true innovation comes from dominating a niche. While this may seem counterintuitive, his perspective sheds light on why some startups succeed wildly while others falter. Developers can learn from this identifying untapped markets rather than chasing crowded ones. So So agree or not, his monopoly mindset pushes us to think beyond the surface. So my take is that I really am a big fan of competition. Now, I get that. And also, I want to see competition win on principles of capitalism, not by being forced to take out the big guys. But sometimes when you have some true monopolies and you take these out, it can create a vacuum. I'm really curious to see what happens when Google is being forced to sell off Chrome. It looks like that's an all but foregone conclusion. So what's going to happen in this case? Was Google actually able to innovate faster because of the monopoly it held with Chrome? Or did this stifle innovation by not allowing other people to compete? Or are we going to see back to the old days where we saw a massive amount of fractured web protocols, whereas because Chrome led the charge, everybody kind of had to follow? So I think this is a really good example of what Thiel's talking about here, about monopolies versus competition. All right, let's dive in and talk about education and innovation. Thiel criticizes the traditional education system as outdated and misaligned with today's innovation needs, and I could not agree more. His Thiel Fellowship, which pays students to drop out of college, embodies this critique. Developers should reflect on this. Are degrees always necessary? And I'm going to jump in here and say I don't think they are. Is hands-on learning more valuable? And I would think in 2024 and 2025, this is definitely a case. It's a super polarizing idea. I get a lot of heads turned a lot of times when I tell kids, I don't think you should go to college. My biggest thing I tell people all the time is don't go to college if you don't know what you're going to do. I hear kids all the time say, I'm going to go to college to learn what I want to do. Man, what an expensive place to learn what to do. Dive into something like a coding boot camp. Here at Startup Hack, we offer an amazing coding boot camp, and for most students, we can get the government to cover the costs. This is amazing. Reach out to us at startuphack.com because we can help a lot of you guys land this opportunity. So especially as you're diving into 2025, new year, new you, learn to code. It's a great way to get started. So I know this is polarizing and it's not super popular, but I tell kids all the time not to go to school. It's a little crazy, but I really push them to get educated. My parents used to always teach us, don't let school stand in the way of your education, right? Let me say that again because I messed it up the first time. Don't let school stand in the way of your education. And I want you to think about that. I think far too often I'm seeing more and more kids nowadays who are not learning how to learn because they're so busy being spoon-fed by the education system. Learn how to learn. So I agree with Thiel here. I think our traditional education system is ripe to be broken. And if you don't believe me, look at the average amount of student loan debt that the average student's coming out with. That right there tells you how broken the system is. All right, let's dive into polarization and tech leadership. Thiel highlights the growing divide between tech leaders embracing bold changes and those clinging to status quo ideals. This tension isn't just political, it shapes the future of innovation. Developers should consider how their values align with their work environments. Thiel's point, leadership isn't about following trends, but about setting them. And this goes right into the next one, globalization and geopolitics. Thiel critiques globalization as both a boon and a bane, arguing that unchecked global systems often benefit adversarial powers. This is especially relevant for tech, where supply chain and data sovereignty intersect with national trends. So you look at the way that a lot of countries are handling data right now. The European Union, it's almost impossible to start a business in the European Union right now because of their requirements around data retention. In the US, this is becoming increasingly difficult, with states like California leading the charge to look more like, I call it California. Sorry, but like this is a great point to this. So developers should be aware of geopolitical implications of their work and of data. Now, globalization needs to reevaluate and to ensure that it serves progress rather than profit. There is nobody who wins with a lot of these data collection. I know it's supposedly to protect the consumer. That's all a bunch of bull crap, and all it does is stifle innovation. So if your team's struggling with outdated practices, check out startuphack.com because we can help you modernize your process. We can help you build a system that can be compliant with all these tough data collection needs. So check out startuphack.com/Spencer because we can help you out. Now, There's a myth of neutral tech, and Thiel argues that no tech is truly neutral, and I would totally agree with this. It's shaped by the intentions of its creators. You don't believe this? Look at the difference of Twitter versus X, right? Developers must own the impact of their creations, from ethical considerations to societal effects. This isn't just a moral stance, it's a competitive advantage. Building tech with purpose and foresight sets you apart in a crowded field. Now, Thiel laments that the slowdown in non-digital innovation, calling for a renewed focus on industries like energy and manufacturing. And if you want my opinion, I think the energy sector has been bloated by all these horrible government subsidies that have really broken the energy sector. Developers have an opportunity here to bridge the gap between digital prowess and real-world impact. I believe developers are going to develop to real-world impact. Those living on fat government subsidies are what are creating this gap. So this requires thinking beyond apps and into systems that drive tangible change. So innovation isn't slowing, it's waiting for bold thinkers to step up and grab the reins. Now, Thiel's philosophy revolves around questioning assumptions and embracing contrarian thinking. This isn't about being difficult, it's about uncovering hidden truths. It's about challenging truth, right? And I think that we all need to apply this by challenging norms in each of our industries. The results will be that solutions don't just meet expectations, but redefine them. This is, like I said earlier, it's about asking some of the dumb questions. And I put dumb into air quotes, right? Thiel emphasizes the importance of individuality in a world increasingly driven by consensus. Everybody wants to be lemmings and be like everybody else. This means that we've got to hone unique skills and perspective. Really learn how to learn. And here at Startup Hack, we love to train software developers in our coding bootcamp so that we can help you in a short 3 months dive in as a beginning level software developer. So your individuality isn't just an asset, it's your edge. In a world of conformity, standing out is ultimate competitive challenge. So if you're ready to embrace the right tech trends, we are here to help you at Startup Hack. We can help you in our coding bootcamp if you want to learn to code, or if you want to build some new tech, we can dive in and help take your dreams and make them become a tech reality. So what are your thoughts? Do you agree with what Thiel said? Do you agree with what I've said? I love having a great discussion. So make sure you leave a comment down below and make sure to like and subscribe. Here at Startup Hack, we love to train software developers in our licensed coding bootcamps, as well as to build custom software solutions for companies. So reach out at startuphack.com/Spencer, and we'll catch you guys next time. Want to become a software developer but don't want to spend 4 years in college and rack up massive student loan debts? Think you need technical expertise to get started? Welcome to Startup Hack, a better way to start your software career without student loans and years without income. One-on-one tutoring is included so you never get stuck and have guidance through the whole process. No technical experience is necessary. Learn at your own pace and in your own space. Startup Hack has worked with local state agencies in your area to make it so that qualifying students can get the program costs covered entirely and students can start earning while they learn.
Hi, I'm Jacob, and I completed the full stack development course offered by Startup Hack. One thing setting Startup Hack apart from any other coding bootcamp was the quality of one-on-one tutoring available. All of the projects that we did were challenging and thought-provoking, but left me feeling very accomplished and very prepared for my first job that I was offered just days after completing the program.
Hello, I'm Tom, and I completed the full stack development course offered by Startup Hack, and I must say that it was an excellent experience. The tutors is what set this course apart from others. They were knowledgeable, experienced, and always available to help provide me with guidance and support. Do not hesitate to take advantage of this affordable and efficient software development course.
Complete our 3-month coding bootcamp, gain hands-on experience, and land a paid internship. With 2 years of experience on average, our graduates are making over $80,000 per year. The 3-month program includes technologies from Microsoft, Google, and Facebook. No debt, just a quick path to earning. Check out startuphack.com to code your future.